guys, welcome to The Bite. My name is Jackie. Today we're going to be making an awesome, luxurious soup, shrimp bisque. You may have had like a lobster bisque or another kind of seafood bisque, but my favorite is shrimp bisque, and it's more affordable than lobster bisque as well. The base of this is going to be homemade from start to finish. I'm going to start with a broth. So this is going to be a shrimp broth, and I'm going to go over the ingredients for that right now, and then I'll go over the rest of the ingredients as we go along. So I have the peels of all my shrimp in here. I have the peel of my onion and a smashed clove of garlic with the peel as well. I also have some parsley in here. This is frozen parsley that I just chop up in a food processor and I freeze it for whenever I want to use it in soups like this, and some salt and pepper. You want to make sure that you're using a pretty good quality shrimp. I mean, you want to, this is the base of the soup, and this is what's going to lend all the flavor. So you want to start with good quality ingredients for this. So the next thing I want to mention is this parsley. So I mentioned that it's frozen parsley. What I do with this is when I have fresh parsley that is starting to wilt and I know I won't use it before it goes bad, I grind it up in the food processor and I stick it in a little bag in the freezer. That way, I know it's still fresh parsley that I can throw into soups and stews. Maybe not like a tabbouleh kind of salad or anything like that, but soups and stews, it works perfectly and it holds its flavor. So that's a really good way to use up something that might be going bad in your fridge if you want to, get the bang for your buck. So we are gonna start by putting this broth together. So like I said, I have all my shrimp tails in here, and I'm gonna add the onion peel, the garlic, and the parsley in. And to this, I'm gonna add 5 cups of water. So I actually ended up adding about 5.5, 6 cups of water in here just because I wanted to make sure everything was covered. And now I'm going to add some salt and pepper. So you want to be kind of liberal with the salt because this is going to be flavoring your entire soup. We're going to be adding a little bit more salt as we build the flavors, but this is the broth, so you want it to have a good amount of flavor. And then some pepper as well. This is going to go on the stove, it's going to come to a boil, and then I'm going to turn it down to a simmer. And you'll notice that the shells, like the shrimp when it's cooked, the shells are going to turn pink. Then we're going to strain it all out, so you're not going to get all these big pieces of everything in your soup. But we're going to strain it all out so that we have the flavor, and then we're going to add it to the soup. Once this broth is at a simmer, we will start making our shrimp bisque. So I have my broth simmering away right here, and now we're going to start on the soup. So I have my pot heating up to medium heat, and I'm going to add some butter. So this is, like I said, a luxurious soup. We're gonna start with butter, not like regular olive oil. And this is gonna really lend a nice silkiness. So that is what I like to start with for any kind of bisque, really. I'm gonna add some carrots, celery, and onions. All of these have been kind of roughly chopped because we are gonna be blending this with an immersion blender, or a regular blender will work fine. So I'm gonna let this cook for a good 5 minutes or so. I want all the veggies to soften. Like I said, they are big pieces, but we are gonna be blending it. It's gonna be nice and smooth, and then I will show you the next step. Check it out. It's smelling like Thanksgiving up in here. So the butter really gives this such a nice smell, a nice warmth to it. It's very comforting, this soup. So I'm gonna salt and pepper this really quickly. And then I'm going to add some flour. So just regular flour. This is gonna thicken the soup up a little bit and just make it a little bit more hearty. We wanna cook out that raw flavor, so we don't wanna see any of the white powder, right? We just wanna kind of let this cook for about a minute, and that's gonna allow that kind of gluiness that raw flour will have if you don't cook it out. The flour is cooked out, and I'm going to be adding a little bit of brandy. So this one is going to deglaze the pan from all that flour cooking on the bottom, and it's going to allow the alcohol to cook out, but that brandy really makes it taste like a shrimp bisque. It gives it that distinct flavor that it should have. Now we can add in our strained broth. So I'm going to take my sieve And turn this off. I'm going to just directly add in my broth. And this, like I said, is the basis of this flavor. I'm going to lower the heat just a bit. I want this to kind of come to a light simmer. And then I'm going to add some tomatoes. So the soup is lightly simmering, and I'm going to add some tomatoes. So this is a can of whole tomatoes, and because it's going to be blended with an immersion blender or your regular blender, it's okay to have the whole tomatoes because they're gonna get crushed up and become one with the soup anyways. So I'm just going to let this kind of come up to a boil, and then when it does, I will lower the heat and we will blend it up. So the soup boiled for about 10 minutes. I turned it to low so that way it can kind of simmer, and that way it's safe for when I put my immersion blender in there and it's not gonna burn anything. So we are gonna blend this into a nice, smooth shrimp bisque. So the soup is looking silky smooth. It kind of got like a nice thicker texture because everything is blended together. Now, a bisque is known for its creaminess, and we will add the heavy cream. However, as promised in the title, and like I do for most of my soups, I'm going to show you how to freeze this. So I freeze my shrimp bisque in most soups quite often, if not every time I make soups. So this is the point that you want to stop and freeze. You don't really want to freeze a soup that has a creamy base because it could separate and it just won't be the same when you reheat it. So I like to stop here, add my soup to freezer safe containers, leave about an inch or so at the top, that way it won't get freezer burn, and then when you reheat it, you can add the heavy cream. So that way you know ensures it won't separate. So this is a shrimp bisque after all, so we have to add our shrimp. So this is going to be the topper. I'm only adding a few because I have a very small serving that I'm leaving for us tonight. So I cut some shrimp in half, added a little bit of garlic, and it's going into some semne, which is ghee, my clarified butter that I have a video for. You could also use regular butter. Kind of looks like a lot, but I like to drizzle it on top. This is a very luxurious soup, okay? This is not something that you want to eat on a regular basis, but this is a nice special occasion. So for that extra flavor, I'm using my semne, and then this sauce is going to get drizzled on top of each portion. So I'm going to add some salt and pepper. I'm also going to add a little bit of oregano. So I find that this goes really well with this soup. You don't have to add the oregano if you don't want to. You can also add some like hot pepper flakes, whatever floats your boat. So let these cook. It will not take more than a couple minutes, and we will get to finishing our soup and serve it up. So the shrimp is done. Like I said, this is a very small portion because most of the soup is gonna get frozen, and that's just what I'm eating tonight. So for the frozen soups, you're gonna wanna let them cool completely before you put them in the freezer, and then you can cover them and do with them as you wish. But to this that we're gonna eat tonight, I'm going to add my heavy cream. This is essential for a bisque, and you can add as much or as little as you want, really. You kind of want to make sure that the soup is not boiling, otherwise it could curdle, and you want it to still have that silkiness to it. So I just added a little bit in, and now you can see that it's got this light pink tone, and it's just, this is exactly what I wanted. And again, you can add more, you can add less, you don't even have to add it if you don't want to, but this to me is where it's at. This is where I like it. So I'm gonna get a bowl and serve it up. So I like to just add a little bit of the shrimp, a drizzle of this semne oil. I'm gonna use this spoon because you know, it's got the garlic in there, it's got the good stuff. So, it already smells good. I'm ready. The epitome of comfort food right here. None of the flavors are fighting over the other. It's just perfectly silky smooth, and it's comfort food at its finest. And I can eat it for lunch anytime I want because it's frozen. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video because I enjoyed making it for you. I have been wanting to film this for a long time. So I'm glad it finally happened, and thank you guys for being patient for me. So I hope you guys check out some other nice videos that I have over here, a lot of fall stuff, a lot of good soups, so check those out, and I gotta eat another bite of this. So we'll see you guys next time on the bye. Thanks for watching.